Welcome back to the Innovative Experience Podcast Show, and we are back for another episode. Oh man, family, it's another day, another grind. What will you do with your time? Because it either make you or you make it. Oh man, for those who are tuning in for the first time, the Innovative Experience Show is the untold stories of entrepreneurs, influencers, and community leaders. And today, family, we have a community leader, entrepreneur, a global icon that is in the building today for the Innovative Experience Show. Man, I'm so excited, man. Like, oh my goodness gracious. Like we was able to pull this off. Mr. Rich Royal.
Yes,
What's
sir.
going on, family?
What's going on, my brother? You doing all right, man?
Yes, sir, man. How you been doing today?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here, bro.
I appreciate it, man.
glad
Listen,
to be
man,
here.
this brother's a native of Douglas, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
We came from the same city, man. We got some great things for you for Innovative Experience family. So what I need you to do right now is subscribe right now. Send it to your auntie, your cousin, your brother, your sister. Because I'm telling you, we got some heat right here. This brother right here. If you don't know about him, today you're going to know a little bit about what this amazing young king is doing, not only the community of Douglas, Georgia, but across the globe.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Across the globe, baby. So, man, we are
Yes,
here,
sir.
man. And I just want to just start off, like, I know we're going to get a little bit of your entrepreneur journey, but if we go back to your upbringing, I know that many entrepreneurs that they usually sell things or whenever they get going. When you think about your journey and where you are now as your upbringing, what do you feel like it all started for you coming from Douglas?
Yeah, bro. So actually, I would say it went back to my adolescent days because I was just telling someone this story the other day. When I was about 10 or 11,
Yeah.
I was telling I remember going to my mom one summer and I was telling her, if you buy me this, I needed a whole little setup,
Right.
because we had just got like a utility shed in our backyard. So I was like, if you buy me this like snow cone machine, if you buy me this case of water,
Right.
this pack of candy, you won't have to buy me nothing throughout the whole summer. I'm gonna use that money and I'm gonna start just reinvesting and just keep
Wow.
finding a way to sell something. And that kept me busy all summer. And so I think that's where the entrepreneur side of me came early on, because I really didn't know I had it in me until I did it. And
Right.
when I did it, bro, it hit, because like in my neighborhood at the time, you know, this is before social media,
Most
bro.
definitely,
Everyone
most
was
definitely.
outside.
Right.
So on a daily basis in the summer, bro, I would go crazy just selling candy, snow cone, water bottles,
Wow.
just any little snack that you wanted during the summer. And when I started doing that, man, every summer after that, I was like, I ain't going nowhere for the summer. I don't sign me up for no camps. Don't do nothing else but get me back in that shed.
Right, that's where the drive
And so,
started.
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
yeah,
So
okay.
I was out there in the shed, man, getting to it. And that's literally where my entrepreneur side started, like at a super young age, bro.
Right. So from Douglas, Georgia, what side of Douglas did you grow up on?
Yeah, so I grew up in what's called the South Side.
The South Side of Douglas?
Yeah,
Okay.
I grew up in the South Side. Right there, I'm a Satilla baby. So
Oh, Satilla.
yeah,
Okay.
man, I'm a Satilla Bulldog
Satilla
for sure.
Bulldog.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
man. So Satilla, and pretty much from there, man, I was always on that side of town throughout my entire life growing up.
Right. So talking about the entrepreneur journey, how was you as a student? Like, was school like valuable for you, or was you like more like, you know what, I got this entrepreneur, what you just mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
How was you as a student, like transitioning from that time all the way until like, you know, your high school and stuff, teen years and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I think as a student, man, I honestly, I was a great head-on student. Like I was pretty much, my mom, she didn't play about school and
Right.
grades, bro. Like, so grades obviously came first. And then after that, I was just like a real social person, like throughout school, man. Like I got along with everybody,
Right.
never caused any trouble. I was just, you know, like someone that everybody could be comfortable with if I walked into the room.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I think one time I saw a clip. I don't know if it was a clip. I don't know if I saw something where I don't know where I saw it at. But I saw you said, you know, and I understand, I can agree with this. Coming from Douglas, Georgia, there's a lot of pressure especially when you come out of high school. You
Right.
either go to college
Yeah.
or the military. And I think I heard you say that,
Yeah.
you know, coming from the pressure. So what did you feel like around that time? Like, what do you feel like a lot of pressures was, and how did it come for you to know that you still had that entrepreneur drive?
Yeah, so I think, man, growing up, like, and going into like right there finishing high school,
Right.
that was like a narrative. Like, if you don't go to college, if you don't go to the military, you're not going to be successful.
Right.
And honestly, bro, I really never saw myself going into any one of those. But and not to say anything's wrong with it, but
Right.
I didn't see that for my future, only because one, I always knew like I had the entrepreneur bone in my body. And so me getting out of when I graduated high school, before that, I didn't even get to walk at my high school graduation. Like my senior year, it was one class that held me back, man, and I didn't get to walk. So at that point, I was just kind of like, college, and then you know, everyone around me would tell me, you know, go to the military, it's the next best thing for you. But it just didn't sit well with me, man. And so I even tried it, bro. Like, I took the ASVAB,
Right.
did good on that, went to like the MEPS thing in Jacksonville. But even after that, man, I was still like, nah, this ain't it. And so after that, I was just like, you know what, let me try this clothing line thing. And it was just an idea that just came in my head because I had already knew I wanted to do something with fashion just based off the type of person I was in high school.
Right.
Adding on to that conversation, I was super fashionable in high school. Like,
Right.
I had a job at Burger King.
Okay.
So like, I was making my own money. I could buy my own clothes. I didn't have to wear the clothes that my mom,
I feel
pick
it.
out for me.
Yes,
so
sir.
which that just kind of drove me into fashion. And after that, man, I was like, I want to do something with fashion. And you know, I was just like, let me try this clothing brand, because I tried it in high school, and we'll get into that too. But you know, I knew I had nothing but time on my hands at that point.
Right. So the clothing brand was, so your first clothing brand idea, what was your first clothing brand idea? Was it immediately Rich Royal or
actually, man, I remember the exact day it happened, bro. I was in class, I was in like a journalism class, and me and a few of my friends, we were talking, and I said, what if I had a clothing line? Would y'all support it? And they were like, yeah, man, like, you know, why wouldn't we? You know, so I just literally came up with something. The next day, came back to class, and I was like, all right, y'all, look at this. And everybody, of course, was hyping me up. So I'm like, all right, cool. Man, I went out and bought some shirts, bro, with my next paycheck. Bro. Probably like one of my worst decisions ever at the time, because like nobody bought the shirts, bro. And I couldn't really figure out at the time if it was like the price point, if it was the design. Looking back, it was definitely the design. Like, it wasn't hitting.
Right.
So you know, that was like really where it started, like the root of Rich Royal at that time. And it wasn't even Rich Royal at the time. It was like something crazy, like some name I just came up with. And I can't even remember, but that was like the grassroots of everything.
So this was like 18, 19?
Yeah, this was, I was about 15 or 16. I was like 16.
16?
Yeah, because I was working by that time. So I was like 16, 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you think about around that time, like, knowing that you were already driven, did you have like any type of like influences, like people that, because I know a lot of times, especially when you in that area, we trying to figure it out, trying to get to that next level. Was it someone that, when did you know, like, literally the idea came to you to be able to transition to do Rich Royal? Was it a dream, or was it an experience, or what? So let's talk about the birthing.
The birthing of Rich Royal.
How did it happen? Like the area, your mental, and we'll get into all this, y'all. But just take us back. If you could take us back to when you knew about the birthing of Rich Royal, what place were you at mentally? And how did it all go? How did it start? The starting point.
So the very start of it, I've said this like a few times before, but bro, I was trying to get this job at Burger King when I was 15. All of my friends was working there, and the manager wouldn't hire me because in Georgia you have to be 16 by law to work. And so just about every week, bro, I submitted the application. Got denied. When I turned 16, on my 16th birthday, I went up there, turned the job application in, and I was just like, all right, you're going to have to give me another excuse not to hire me now. So he hired me on the spot.
Right.
And the first thing he said was like, man, you have a royal demeanor, and if you keep that, one day you're gonna be rich.
Wow.
And I wrote that down, like, and I went back and looked at it on my lunch break. And I
you
just
gotta say
kept
that
repeating
again, bro.
it.
Hold on. Say that one more time.
Yeah, he told me, you have a royal demeanor, and if you keep that, one day you'll be rich. Those was his exact words. And I wrote it down, sat on it for a while, man. And when I like came back to the name, because I found the paper like a few years after high school, and that's like how I knew it was going to be the clothing brand's name. I found the paper that I wrote down, and I was like, Rich Royal. And it was so funny, like how it all came together, because like right at that time, this was like right after I was saying I was thinking about the military, and I kind of crossed over from that, and that's when I got the idea of starting a brand. Then it was like I found this paper, came up with the name, and I'm like, Rich Royal. And the rest was just like, that was just like the rest of it for with the name, and that's how it came about, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. Full circle moment.
So that's when it started, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was some of the beginning hiccups that you started with, or challenges?
Yeah.
For someone that may be in a similar situation, when you think about the birth thing, and I'm still blown away by what you just said.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of the challenges and stumbling blocks at the first beginning?
Yeah. So the biggest challenge was just getting started. You know, and I think that's any entrepreneur's problem in the early stages of starting a business. Because you want everything to be perfect. You want to be presented in a certain way to the media. You want to be delivering the highest quality of a product. And I just figured out, man, if I told myself one day in that process of getting started, if I continue to delay my process, I'm never going to get started. You know what I mean? And so I put a timestamp on when I wanted to start. And that was literally, I started working at Walmart, which was the job I used to fund the brand. I started working there in January of 2018, and I told myself June 25th, 2018, which is my birthday and the birthday of the brand, that was the day that I wanted to launch the brand. And at that point, I didn't have a choice. Like, I was like, I gotta make it happen. So I put that energy out there, and that was like the biggest hiccup. But from there, man, growing the brand, it's just been about being consistent. And that's the biggest problem a lot of people have with their businesses.
That part.
It's just the consistency, staying consistent.
And I saw something, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this date to you, and it's going to resonate in just a minute. January 26, 2020. I don't know if I'm getting the dates right, but I saw it said that you put in your 2-week notice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At Walmart, and you had your first international sale, something like that.
Yep.
In Spain.
Yeah.
Could you take me back to that feeling? Take us back to that moment.
Yeah. Because
if we can think about it, especially with someone that's trying to get something off the ground, you know, when you're trying to fund something, it can get frustrating. You know, the process of working as a Walmart employee, and you have this vision, you have this dream of what you really desire to do.
Right.
When that moment happened for you, around that time, what triggered for Rich Royal?
Yeah, so during that time, man, I was really, really, really going back and forth with myself about leaving Walmart to do the brand full time, because at this point, I was working there for 2 years. Right. At this point in time.
2018, 2020, right?
Yeah. And so I remember leading up to that day, I just kept saying it to my fellow coworkers and just anyone around that worked, you know, that I came in contact with. I was just like, you know, I think I want to leave, because I was, like I said, I was pretty social, man, and I've always been like that. So I would just put that energy out there, letting people know, like, I'm gonna do it, so that when I do it, it won't be like out of the blue. And so I remember going into work that day. Mind you, man, listen, they had me on a set schedule, and on that particular day, they had me work like a totally different shift. So I'm like, what's going on? Like, this don't feel right. And so I was working I had to work like 7 in the morning, and I got there. And when I went on my first break, I was just sitting in my car on my lunch break, just looking at the orders, looking at, videos, podcasts, whatever I could do at the time. And I saw like I had an order from Spain. And I was like, wait a minute. Like Spain? Like,
man,
is that a city in the United States? Like, nah, this is another country.
Right,
so,
right.
When I saw that, man, I instantly said, it's over. Like, I'm turning in my 2 weeks notice. And I went in, I found my manager. I told him, I said, hey, I want to turn in my 2 weeks notice. And this man laughed in my face, bro.
Wow.
He laughed. And it was like, turn in your 2 weeks notice to do what? Sell t-shirts? And I'm like, you serious? In my mind, I didn't say it to him, but I was just, in my mind, I'm thinking like, it's cool, don't overreact. And I did it. And man, I haven't even had to play with the thought of going back. It's just been nonstop growth. And that's just, it's mind blowing, man. It's mind blowing.
Do you just sometimes just sit back and think about that moment, and we can flash forward 3 years later? Would you ever thought, bro, that you would be at this place right now?
Nah, no way. Yeah, no way. I like sometimes, man, it was one night last week, man, I literally broke down crying in my warehouse. Like, it was late. I was there working and just reflecting on like how far we've come as a brand, because man, it's like being in this position, man, at this young age. Like, I'm 25.
25? Y'all heard that right?
I'm 25.
Keep going.
And just the odds that was stacked against me coming from Douglas, being labeled as another statistic that's, just gonna be around, with people, so many people early on doubting the brand, and, so many people that I wanted to support me flipping and just going in a different direction and not supporting me. And all of those things, man, all of those hurdles, bro, like, I realize now, like, I had to go through that. And it's just got me to this point, and it's just it's still the beginning.
Man.
So, yeah, like, to answer your question, man, I never seen it coming, not this fast anyway. Because, and I always say, it's like the moment I left Walmart, everything went up.
But just think about it, bro. Like, there's so many people like that are in situations that they allow fear to harness the next step. And I can commend you, because most people look at the current circumstance where they are, but not have the faith to propel, to take a step, to take it to the next level.
Yep.
Now imagine if you would have just stayed and didn't even act on that, bro.
Yeah.
So for our listeners out there, like, this is a testament. Like, if there's something that God gives you that he puts on your heart,
right,
you got to react to it.
Yes, sir.
I just had to say that.
Yeah.
And I saw too, matter of fact, first of all, let me give you kudos, man. I saw a post that you all did $100,000 so far, 100,000 orders, right?
100,000 online orders.
Yes, sir. That is wow.
Yeah.
So, man, I really want you to just talk about the work that becomes. I know we're still talking about the brand, but the work that no one sees that goes behind the brand. I just said 100,000 orders.
Right.
Could you just talk about the work, the preparation, like, and I know we could take this a million ways. The team that comes behind all of the process.
Right. Yeah. So I think a lot of it is, one, having something for people to believe in. Because for me to want people to support me and to build a brand, like a international brand.
Yes, sir.
I knew I had to have something for people to believe in. And for one, it starts with the entrepreneur first.
Yes, sir.
You know, because you are your brand. And so I think when I realized I am what makes my brand different, I knew the amount of growth that I could go through with my brand, it was limitless. And so every single day, man, even when I was working at Walmart, I said I got to put in the work. Like, I have to put in the work every single day.
Wow. Sundays
included.
Yes, sir.
You know, and so every time I would find myself, you know, sitting still on my phone, I always tell myself, put my phone down, find something to do, you know, and not to say like I work myself to death. Like, you know, obviously I have some time to myself, but I knew that if I wanted to be labeled as a brand like Nike, a brand like Ralph Lauren, you know, I had to put in the work.
Right.
And so a lot of the work that goes on behind the scenes is putting together, a great product. Along with a great product comes a plan of marketing. Along with the plan of marketing comes great content. And after that, it's just about getting out there and literally selling the product, selling the story to as many people as you can reach. And a lot of people now, man, what I see with a lot of startup brands is they think, oh, if I get to 100,000 Instagram followers, this is going to be equivalent to 1,000 sales. Like, me making 1,000 sales to my Instagram followers of 100,000 should be nothing.
Right.
And that's not how it works. Like you just said, man, we have reached 100,000 orders. I don't even have 100,000 followers on Instagram. You know, so obviously there's a lot of work being put into this brand behind the scenes. And, you know, I wear a lot of different hats inside the brand. So I can't just necessarily lay down all the ground rules of like everything that goes on. But obviously, like, there's always room to work, room to put in effort. You know, just making that effort to go out to the world and present my brand and sell it to as many people as I can. And, you know, there's just so much that goes on behind the scenes. But to name a few of the basics, it's putting together marketing, putting together ways to just reach so many more people, man. Because, you know, that's one thing that I realized with getting to this milestone is there's so many other people that haven't seen the brand, haven't even like laid eyes on the brand. So I'm trying to constantly figure out more ways to get to those people. And with that just comes more work. So, you know, just coming in every day, doing the work, showing up, and not missing a beat.
Yes, sir. So I just want to throw this out here. So let's say that I'm John Doe, and I have this idea, you know. I'm just gonna pick your brain if you want to give it a little game to. We ain't gonna get too much, just a little bit.
That's cool.
All right. So I'm John Doe.
Okay.
And I'm really thinking about starting a t-shirt brand. I have about, you know,